I have something to show you. Ah, it's called a mermaid pillow. My friend Emma gave it to me, and it does a magic trick. What? It is so cool. And you can just keep going back and forth. And it just feels so neat. And I'm in love with it. And there's two sides. What? Big fan. Hello to the internet. My name's Craig Montgomery, and we're here to talk about the things that make you say, who even am I? Today I wanted to do a little exploration into self-esteem, because that's a topic that has not only been a personal struggle of mine, but also something that's been a very complex system to try and evaluate and understand and learn how to incorporate into my own life. So I wanted to try and put some language to my concepts of what it means to have self-esteem, what it means to build self-esteem, and all of the little complexities around what self-esteem touches in other aspects of being a human. So get ready. To start, I'll talk about what it means to have esteem. So esteem would be the light in which you hold something, typically with respect or dignity. To have good esteem for a person or for an establishment is to find them to be respectable and that you can trust that they're going to do the things that they say they're going to do. So when you turn that inward on yourself, if you have good self-esteem, you think that you have value innately in who you are and what you can bring into the situations that you're moving into. There's also the negative side of that, not having self-esteem, not esteeming something well, would be to expect it to perform not to your standards or expectations, that type of thing. I think the biggest level of confusion that I had in evaluating self-esteem and what it meant and how to obtain some is the kind of direct relationship that self-esteem has with confidence and, on a farther extension, cockiness or an inflated ego, which is, what we colloquially refer to very heavily as narcissism. And so I was very averse to that. I've personally seen the damage that extreme narcissism can do to relationships, and I was not really interested in engaging in that. So much so that I was very averse towards even approaching it. I was very worried about having too much of an ego. Funny story, you can also be sort of a negative narcissist where you are so self-involved with your own neuroses that you have a really hard time seeing outside of yourself, which is what I used to be. The first step is admitting. Pretty far past the first step, but So that was confusing for me in the beginning, understanding that there is a sort of separation between self-esteem and confidence and an overinflated ego. And the reason why I kind of separate it that way, because self-esteem and confidence really can kind of be used interchangeably when we're talking about your person, your own expectations of your performance and such. But I actually kind of had to break it down even further and look into, there's a very big difference in me evaluating my own worth and deciding I have value to offer, and my confidence in my ability to deliver that value to the world. So that is confidence, is taking the value that I know I have and translating that out into the world with other people. So self-esteem, knowing I have worth; confidence, knowing I can provide that worth. And then ego would be stating that worth is more important than someone else's worth or needs to be prioritized over other worth. That's kind of how I view that. Ego talks about status, confidence talks about performance, self-esteem talks about just base actual value. So that was complex for me to kind of unpack. Beyond that, I think what was really difficult for me was learning how to establish and understand worth in myself without needing it reflected or validated to me back from other people. And I think that's very natural growing up, is really looking towards your peer groups or even towards the adult group that you are involved with to inform you that this is the value you have to offer to the world. And that's a very important process, to have that reflected back to you, to have someone reassure you. But in the case that that's not happening, or that you're not really receiving the messages because of your own insecurities, whatever it may be, and even if you did receive those messages, oftentimes you're still going to have to do some of this work of learning how to establish your self-worth and understand that that's unshakable, and that is something that you always have inside of you. That's some part of growing up. Part of growing up is just really learning your foundation and how you can always return to that no matter how hard you fall. That's typically a lesson we have to learn the hard way. That's not really one you can learn by reading a book or listening to stories. It's something inside of you that you can only find by actually cracking open and really digging in, typically via hardships delivered to you by life on a little silver platter of you can go hurt yourself. So for me, and I can really only speak from my own experience, and although I can't really help anyone find that foundation inside themselves, because I do think it's a self-exploration process, I think listening to other people's stories and understanding that other people have gone through hardships really helps you understand that when you're going through it in your own life, that it's a normal process and not something that you need to feel so alone about. Because that's a big struggle when we deal with hardships, is how alone it makes us feel. How we're like, oh, no one else has ever had to deal with this. Everybody else is so super confident and just doing great in their life. Look at all their Instagram posts. Beautiful smiles and happy life. So I just want to put more things out there that say, hey, it's okay to have a hard time and to struggle, because we're all working real hard to just do this thing called life. As usual, I have sort of a tip/trick/step into what really helped me move through this process, and that is acceptance. Really of myself and of my flaws and of the ways that I find myself insufficient, because learning to accept those things about myself and say, okay, I have limitations. There are things that I wish I could do better that I really struggle at. Accepting that that's where I'm coming from stopped me pushing that away and trying to pretend like it wasn't there and pretend like I am better, so that I can, just go out there and do it. Just lace up my bootstraps and go. When I accepted I do have these limitations, it helped me understand a better level playing field, that foundation, actually taking a cold hard look at who I really am at the base of it, accepting what that is, and understanding, okay, I can work with this. These are tools and resources that I can do something with. And that helped me step towards the confidence stage of learning, like, all right, now I have these resources that I can see I can do some stuff with. Let me try and bring that to the world. Let me try and find a way to project that outside of my body and my life and touch other people with it. So I really felt like acceptance was a very hard, confusing, painful step, but a necessary one into understanding both my worth and how to translate that into confidence in my abilities to perform and to do. We are human beings after all, and to be is a verb, which is something that we're going to be doing. And I think that little translation of that is really beautiful and succinct, and very much what life is about. It's about finding the things that you can do that bring you joy and make you feel closer to other people. So, life things, lots of talking. I hope that made sense. I hope it kind of resonated with you. I hope that it moved you a little bit to maybe take a little second to sit down and think about those things inside yourself that you have a hard time looking at, and try and be more soft and forgiving with yourself. I usually try and think of myself as a friend in those situations. How would I be soft with them and talking about the situation? And that usually helps me find better language to have a conversation with myself, to think about the things and encourage myself to accept it and understand that yes, I'm human, I'm flawed, I have limitations. That does not mean that I cannot work towards the things that I want. Yep, so those are my thoughts on self-esteem and the complexities thereof. If you like the video, give it a like. If you like what I've been doing, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I release videos every Tuesday and they will come to you that way, which is, just a lot easier than you have to come find me. Yeah, leave me a comment below if you want to. I know it might not feel like the best idea to spill your heart about all your insecurities out onto the internet, but why not? No, I'm kidding. Just say hi, and I'll say hi back, or, whatever. I'd like to talk to you guys. And if you have any ideas for future topics that you'd like to hear me spill my guts about, I'd also be very open to that. I want to talk to you guys about the things you want to hear me talk about. And yeah, thanks for the views, likes, and being around. As always, take care of yourself. Ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-bye.